What y'all take Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp breaking up?
Here we go.
Uh, I am happy that Shannon Sharp is leaving Skip Bayless because I think that personally, it had to grow on me. I miss skipping Stephen A, but the way Skip was rude to Shannon, I couldn't think he was going to stay. And to hear that he was ready to move on, and he could keep his Shay. I'm excited to see what he gonna do. I'm excited to see where he gonna go, and he has an opportunity to keep his YouTube channel. I'm cool with it. Now I wonder who Skip was gonna be his next partner. He a little difficult to work with.
Why Skip can't do it by himself?
Right. So
That's
let me jump in there. Let me jump in there because there's a little bit of disagreement that I have in terms of that opinion, Andrea. For one, be honest about it. What did they do? They bought out his contract.
right.
Okay. So what does it mean? Does it mean you were fired? You were never hired. You were within a contractual obligation. Both of you were within a contractual quid pro quo where they provide resources and you provide services, which was the show, right? Cool. We got it. All right. Now, and it was for a particular period of time.
Right.
So what they did was, in essence, pay him for work that he hasn't even done. They paid him without the work. They bought out his contract. So whatever the life of the contract was, if it was $50 million for 5 years and he only did a year and a half, they were paying him out everything. Right?
Right.
Now, in some situations when they buy out contracts, they'll use performance statistics that exist now in order to do what's called extrapolate, where they can kind of extrapolate how much. So if you performed in the bonus range this first season and there was a lot of growth, when they buy a contract, any performance perks or incentives, they'll be inclined to do it on what's called a pro rata basis, where, for potential bonuses you could have lost, because now they're not giving you the opportunity to perform or to get on the field when you are ready and available and willing to work, right? The question would be, why would they do that? There was a lot of ratings. You know what I think?
Right.
Look at one of the biggest memes that's come from that show since that conversation about Tom Brady. It's Shannon losing his cool.
Right.
Remember, this is sports talk, shit talk, man talk. And people make judgments all day. But one thing you're not supposed to do is take it personally. Some people would say, and you don't take it personally when they're talking about one of the greatest, especially if you're in an argument where you're questioning, somebody that's considered at this point a deity in football.
Okay.
So if you caught a fan of theirs, of course, once people are made into a deity, that's going to happen. But what took place was he lost his cool. He's like, what, shit? What, shit?
Glasses back on.
Right.
Yeah, but
and then so what it did was it actually made their following conversations so cringe. Look at the screaming matches Stephen A has had with Skip. That's a part of their architecture. They screaming back and forth. They get into it. What?
Yes, you're right.
What are you crazy? Oh,
Right.
you must be. They need to. Right. That's what they do. What I'm saying is that Shannon is one of those dudes that's not good at playing the dozens. And you got mad. Yes, you're a Hall of Famer. If Tom Brady retired earlier, a few rings earlier, he would have been a Hall of Famer.
Right.
So the point is, ever since that conversation, the dynamics have been off. You can see it. They're not there to create relationships. They're there to make money. They're there to get viewership, engagement. And all I'm saying to you is, ever since that confrontation that they had, Their conversations have been a little less comfortable and a little less organic because Shannon's feelings were hurt. Why do they got to keep this stuff going on for an extra couple of years? They paid him his money, they gave him his value, and say, yo, let's let you do your thing, and you keep your brand. We don't want to take nothing from you. That's what gentlemen do.
Yeah, but at the same time, if we're working together as business, as co-hosts, okay, it's one thing to respect each other. It's another thing to take a pot shot at me, and I would be offended too.
You saying a pot shot?
Yes,
Why
a
is it a
pot
pot
shot.
shot?
Pot
That's
shot.
I just did you understand? So you didn't understand the whole point when I said the thing about a deity, about you can't talk of them when they worship certain people. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Skip has an affinity for Tom Brady, as does a lot of people. So remember, they speak. Sometimes those people speak what the regular guy that's out there. When the regular guy, when the regular woman like Andrea says, "Oh, I think these dudes is these new athletes are soft as cotton balls, soft as cotton balls," and then if Stephen A. Smith says the same thing, you gonna salute him, right?
Well, yes, my
Right?
yes.
Okay, you're going to salute your opinion,
Right,
right?
right.
Right. But the whole point is there's a lot of people that was saying the same thing. Like, please, man, Tom Brady was way better than you. You ain't no Tom Brady, nigga. That wasn't no pot shot. They was in the heat of the conversation, and he took it personally. But the whole point, that's not the point, Andrea. The point is, you asked, what did we think about them canceling that whole relationship? And what I stated is, I think it was a gentlemanly way to handle it because they paid him also for work that he didn't do. They gave him a brand that they could have locked him into. You see? So they paid him for work he didn't do. They gave him the benefit of the doubt. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
And look, they don't. When a Negro fire you, you lucky if you get the check they owe you.
Let me this, right? So, okay, time out. Okay. Hey, in the corners. All right. So I would say in this situation, right? So say, Chef, you understand that rapping and music in general is a passion of mine. And me and you, we have different levels of experience in the music business, but um we consider ourselves friends and that we are currently working together. So no matter what you think about Rakim, KRS-One, or anybody who came before me, if I say, hey, you know what I'm saying, blah, 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 I'm talking shit about how Andre 3000 ain't did this, and that, and all he did was this, and he could have did this, and he could have did that. You could say, nigga, you can't hold a candle to Andre 3000. You could say that, but you understand how personal that is. So at the end of the day, you may be correct, and everybody might be behind you.
Because I'm a rapper.
You not on here with Andre 3000, you on here with me. So even if you behind the scenes told me like, nigga, I wish you better not never say that shit again and put me in a situation where I can't speak my truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, you already know. Come on now, don't put yourself in the same conversation with Andre 3000 and make me choose, yo, because next time I'm not going to be so nice. At the end of the day, he has grounds to stand on by saying, hey, man, I'm your partner. Fuck how you feel about Tom Brady. I'm your partner.
Right.
I don't think that should have been enough, which means there were other things going on behind the scenes to end that relationship in the middle of a contract of all things. It's not like, okay, I'm a free agent, my contract's expired, and it's time to re-up, and I just say, hey, look, man, it's been real, but let's just go our separate ways and see how that goes, and maybe we'll do something else in the future. No, he's saying, I'm out. So my thing is, he must got some badass lawyers because I don't care how much Skip love him. I don't care how good the management of Fox Sports is. You can't, as a professional athlete, get those kinds of buyouts. think of Nick Cannon, right?
It's you can't.
They wanted to take his brand with the Wildin' Out. They say, "Hey, you want to go? Okay, but you're not taking Wildin' Out with you." What kind of high-powered lawyer negotiations would Shannon Sharp, of all people, have been able to manage against a powerhouse like Fox?
That's what I'm saying. That's why, and that's the whole point, bro. Listen, in this day and age, it's different than the negotiations from 20 years ago. What's happening now, image, optics plays a part, not pissing people off, okay? And part of it is the racial optics of it. And they don't want to come across. And so they're doing what they're doing is look, it literally looks like, yo, we don't want the problem with the ninjas, man. We don't even want that problem. But this ain't working like it was before. So that's why those things are in place. It's a contract with a length, with measurables, and then I'm not just giving you all the rest of the money for the contract with pro rata bonuses, but I'm also allowing you to take what's legally considered intellectual property, which is the Club Shay Shay. That's also given to you, right? So here's the thing. Here's what people forget. People think, PTI, they thought that show was Stephen A. Smith's show and Skip's show. That show is Skip's show. Don't get it twisted. And when you look at it from that dynamic, you'll understand. Oh shit, it's his show. It's Skip's show. So now they decided to cut ties. They wanted to make it as amicable as possible. So they pay him with pro rata bonusing based on, performance and growth already from the time that's in there. Which means that he has the ability to go somewhere else now with that brand that's already been established, which was already Fox IP or intellectual property. So that's like giving you a patent. That's his IP now, his intellectual property. So he already has something in place. He can go to Barstool, he can go to here. Do you understand? They paid him the rest of his contract. He can get a contract for 30, 40 million right freaking now using his brand.
So are you saying that the court of public opinion and their fear of backlash is what made them give him a king's ransom?
It's a publicly traded company. It's a publicly traded company. And if they see that brand too can potentially start outgrowing another brand that they have within their business, that's a choice. Remember, it's a business. You get to handle personnel the way that you handle the personnel. The thing is, though, you have to handle them in a fiscally, morally fiscal manner, right? Or morally feasible manner. And you have to take care of them, financially. So people are complaining, but they bought the man's contract out.
So
they don't want to work with. They don't want him. They don't want to work with him.
I understand.
They're entitled to that.
I understand. So did Shannon have great lawyers to negotiate all this?
That wasn't a. Did you hear it was a negotiation? That's what I'm saying. You're making the assumption that it was a negotiation.
Do you think he did it by himself? I'm asking. Do you think he did it by himself?
It's not did it. They cut ties with him. He did. You understanding what's going on? I think you thinking he quit them.
Yeah, I think
Andrea, watch this. Watch this.
Uh-huh.
If I got a contract with you,
right,
and I'm making money with you, and you decide you're gonna quit me,
right?
The fuck I'm gonna be giving you the rest of your contract. I'm gonna be suing you for breach of contract.
Right.
Right. So he didn't leave them. They left him. That's what
okay.
Now listen, that makes 100% more sense than the way I'm like. no niggas out here strong arming whole networks. So
Right, that's what I'm saying.
and Club Shay Shay doesn't work without Shannon. So even if took the name, they can't make it work without him agreeing. So he could just easily rebrand and change the name of it,
Well,
and they have to
he could have.
amend it. Like,
Well, not legally. What they could have done was they could have what you call it. They could have pressed him, and even without them having to do anything with the show, they could have still gotten the 10% on the back end as long as the show was there. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
There's ways they negotiate in terms of IP. That's why you'll see, Jay Prince still getting bread from Drake, you know,
uh,
right.
I
And that was
think I,
before Cash Money. So
I
yeah,
think as
so
a
it wasn't he didn't leave them. They quit him. That's why I said they did it genuinely. It wasn't negotiated. They gave them that. Like, yo, look, man.
so they just really did good business overall, but they didn't have to.
Yeah, because think about it. Then it would have been the racial aspect. Oh, look at that, and it would create racial divide, and you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Fox Sports, and election year, and all of this election season, all of this stuff plays a part, and these are publicly traded companies too. So when they making decisions, sometimes it's cheaper to keep her. Sometimes you pay her to leave. And then being strategic in that situation is what you have to do. Personally, those ever since that whole controversy they had, ever since that, the vibe's been off because Shannon been almost acting like the hurt girlfriend.
Yeah, well, I'll say this. It,
That's the
it,
vibes.
it seems canned at this point. It doesn't have that
Cringe.
authenticity that it did. You can tell they just going through the niceties and getting through the conversation.
Yeah, he's wounded now. Shannon is wounded now. You see what I'm saying? So it's not the same. I don't want to keep having that sad sack shit on my stuff now for the next couple of years. You know what I'm saying?
to speak on this whole thing. I think for me as a fan watching these guys, it's disheartening. It's disheartening because like you get used to these cats. You know what I'm saying? Like you get used to watching them. So like, and I really watched like these shows. So to see Skip and Stephen A break up, then it was Skip and Max break up. Now it's Skip and Shannon, and then I remember it was Nick Wright and the football player. It was him, but then something happened with the football player, and then he had to go. They always like doing the switch up, and for me as a fan that watches these shows, it's disheartening because you get used to these cats. You get used
But
to their
don't,
personality. So
Mr.
yeah,
Best, Mr. Best, don't just when I say this, it's not to cut you off or disrespect. This is just for the perspective lens. That's why I said you got to watch for the whole thing. Who's the consistent piece that's there? That show is actually Skip's show. Contractually, that's actually Skip's show, and they get somebody to bounce off a Skip,
Wow.
just like the ABC TV show. Remember Regis? Before it was Regis and Kelly, or Mike. Before it was Regis and Kelly, right? It was Regis and Kathy Lee.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? That was actually Regis's show. And then
Right.
once Regis was gone, it was a wrap, and became something else. But that's the whole point in terms of the production aspect. It's always Skip. That's actually Skip's show.
Right.
And that's the point when we see it from that perspective. But what he does is he opens another seat so that you have some contrast to the idea. So he's not an echo chamber because he's great and he's entertaining in an argument.
Right.
He's
yeah.
entertaining in an argument. He could hold his own in a black barbershop argument.
True.
You know,
Yeah,
if
Chef just brought it back with that whole Regis Philbin thing, dog.
Would you
I
get
feel
it?
like I'm in
That was
elementary
actually
school again. He
Regis'
brought it
show.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
remember,
was.
there was never no contract that he had to worry about. It was Kathy Lee had to worry about contract. It was Kelly, it was the rest of them. That was Regis' show.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you just got lucky to be the end. Regis and, So
Right.
yes, anybody on that show with him is the end.
The B side. Yeah.
Right, but he's making it seem like it's a democracy of two, when actuality
That's why
he's letting you argue with the king.
Right.
look. Remember Jen, right? Because it was what's the little pretty girl? Joy. It was Joy first, and she got into it with Skip, and then her eyes disappeared, and
Joy
then
Behar, yeah.
they brought
Oh
in
no, the other Joy. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Joy.
Joy Taylor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Joy Taylor.
I'm thinking about Reed.
She related to the football player. That's her brother.
Who's her brother? Who's her brother? They always saying that, but who's her brother?
The dude that played for Miami, Taylor, whatever his name is.
Jason Taylor.
Yeah, that's her brother.
Okay.
But look though. So then they brought in the first gen because they got a new gen now. That ain't even the original gen. They brought in another. They got a thing about the types that they like to bring, but
Right.
they just want somebody who gonna shut up and dribble, if you will. And yeah, like yeah, like the first gen, if you remember, she kind of sided with Shannon a little bit.
Right. They got rid of her. I just see they got rid of her.
Right, and they actually had a little on-air confrontation, and she not even talking over them or nothing like that. She just made a little comment at the end before she introduced the next topic, and she was like basically saying that she had a problem with whatever Skip's take was, and he didn't want to let it ride. He kind of chumped her off at the end, and she was like, well, I'm a real human being. I'm not a robot, and I have an opinion.
His motivational speech was the most inspiring, but criticizing his appearance, I don't know if I think that is a fair shot for Mike McCarthy. I'm going to leave it at that. Chris Broussard.
Thanks, Ginny. I appreciate that.
I don't think it is a fair shot.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's a fair shot.
Is
either.
everyone
That's
who's
my
a
opinion.
good coach
Yeah.
as fit as you, Skip? I don't think that's a fair shot whatsoever.
I wouldn't want. I said it was a personal preference, and I wouldn't want him to be my head coach.
That have not had the perfect ideal physique, including my college coach. So I don't think that's a fair shot.
Okay.
And I'm allowed to have an opinion, Skip. I am allowed to say whatever I want to say on this show, as you do too. Chris Broussard will join us, and he will react to Westbrook's comment, and maybe I have more to say next.
Basically, she's like, I'm gonna say what I want to say. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think she got the memo that shit was Skip's show. And Skip was not having that, and her eyes disappeared. And it's nothing Shannon can do for her. And they exchanged tweets and things after the fact, and he supported her, and she supported him when him and Skip got into it. She came out the dark and was like, yeah, that bitch ass nigga, I said fuck him too. But at the end of the day, I think that is the point. That is Skip's show. And when you get confused about who running shit, that's when you get reminded. And I think Shannon got reminded of that. And it
never outshined the master.
That part. And he took the reverence that people have for him and his Hall of Fame, and the fact that Skip never did any of those things, and kind of put them on even playing fields, because yeah, it's your show, but they here to see me. I'm the one who did the shit. I'm the one who got insight. I'm the one who got connections. And he's correct. But at the end of the day, he had to have a platform to do it from. And I think he was intelligent to build that while he had that many eyes, and not to be starting from scratch now, like someone like a Tucker Carlson. So right now, Shannon has over 1 million subscribers that he can just walk to, according to this friendly departure that he's made with Fox, and just honestly go do his thing. And if he wants to get him someone to bounce off of his choosing, he can do it. And now he's in the, as he would say, the catbird seat, and he can play Skip and make those executive decisions that we were under the impression that were shared decisions, but are clearly one-sided decisions. But yeah, I'm happy for the brother. I don't think you should burn a bridge or a relationship for that. But like, if you say if it wasn't about that, it was just the higher up saying, we don't like the dynamics, it's not working, the numbers aren't what they used to be, and we're gonna just cut ties and part ways amicably so that no one's upset and we look like the good guys here. That makes a lot more sense. So.
Yeah, I got a final word. Right? And I'm gonna leave it with two questions. There's people that believe that there's other people from the NFL that should have went in before Shannon Sharp.
Other people like who?
There's people. What I'm saying is, there's always the argument of this person should have made it into the Hall of Fame before that person.
Oh,
You
in the
understand
Hall.
what I'm saying? In the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah.
There's multiple people that feel that. There's people that may feel that he doesn't deserve it. There's going to be people that feel that. Sometimes when you win a certain accolade, there's certain people that feel that they don't deserve it. You know, it's a fair credibility sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why some of those people, when they do get that accolade, they lean on it as a crutch.
Yeah.
And they lean into it. And I say all of that to say, I believe that even though he earned it, right? Mm-hmm. And in terms of the process, he made it into the Hall of Fame. But I do believe that he's leaning into it so much that it makes him less able to have a really objective conversation because he was so tied into it. All right. And once it was a comparison made of him and somebody that's already considered a god in the game still playing, right?
Mm-hmm.
He felt the way about it. So you ain't never hear Skip clown Stephen A on his lack of a basketball career.
Yes, I heard. Yes.
Stephen A clowned himself.
Yes.
Okay. Part of this entertainment thing here, mm-hmm, to learn yourself is to be somewhat what's called self-deprecating. Right. Being able to laugh at yourself.
Yes.
Because there's some people that will walk down the street and trip and fall and then go home and lock the door and don't want to come out because of embarrassment. There's people that trip and fall and laugh and make a joke about it. Mm-hmm. Being self-deprecating. And in terms of making TV entertaining and less cringe, you have to have that kind of ability. And I think he lacks that objectivity right now. And you know, they had to make a business decision. But if we look at it from the perspective of Skip and Fox, that's his show. He just plays like he's the co-host. He's the silent partner.
Okay.
That's all I got.
All right, Andrea. Let's see final thoughts.
I look at the way Chef is saying, yes, maybe I was looking at it as if I was a co-host with my personal feelings would get hurt. Yes, it would. So I have to look at it as a business thing, and sometimes people got to part ways, even though you thinking they could have stayed together, but this one gonna work, and it is what it is. It had to break up. There was no going back. I mean, number one with the Tom Brady, the second instant with the Damar Hamlin, it was no going back. I didn't think it was gonna last. So, but I wish him good luck in everything he do, and I do like Club Shay Shay. I do like the show. I mean, he's very entertaining to watch. Yeah.
I'll say this. This has been a great experience. Sharing the space with you all from platform to platform, whether it's on our individual platforms or places where we end up bumping into each other, just out here playing in these YouTube streets. And, I really enjoy the conversations. I think they're insightful. I think people get something from them, even if we not able to hear those conversations from those watching in the bushes, if you would. But I just want this channel to continue to grow. Anybody who is interested in doing sports content and you have it on your page, the No Gloves Network is not specific to Victor Freeze, Andrea, or Chef Shapino. This is a collaborative that we intend to grow, and you will be paid for your content should you choose to share it. If you'd like to be a part of the No Gloves Network, please make a comment under this video or any other video. and we'll get in direct contact with you. And depending on what you're talking about, we love to work with you. This NBA season has been better than some of the previous ones. I'm a little disheartened by the business. It feels like more business than it used to. It feels like it's all business. And I think there's a handful of people who still find the love in the craft, love in the game, and watching professional sports. Because I just like to watch great men be great, and it wouldn't matter what they were doing, whether it was shooting a ball or putting concrete in a hole. And with that, shout out to all my blue collar workers out here and all my regular everyday guys who get it done.